Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Ishvaro Guratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyom Abda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tava Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatosh Maham Om Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Welcome. We have seen yesterday in on the verse 83, Gaudapada was giving us an advice never to, yes, Lee, is it all right?
It's okay, a dove threw himself at the window.
Oh. Okay. So there is an advice given to every Vedanti never to discuss with people with different philosophies, you know. If the argument comes, every time we get a little bit heated up, means to say the ego is there. The ego is the one who gets heated up. And then discussions arguments bring about that aspect of the human ego. And that will help us to forget our real nature. And then he goes, it's more or less where we stopped yesterday, right, Lynn? And then he goes back to remind us a little bit about these different schools. Other systems that says that there is an Ātmā, there is one Ātmā other than the body-mind that is also material, all pervading, many in number, and with attributes like raga devasha. And he says that there is another Ātmā, and this Ātmā fundamentally is the mind or the intellect, who has different configurations of raga and devasha, and it's many in number. So as many subtle bodies, human subtle bodies will be in the universe, there will be different Ātmas. Yeah? Ātmas is something that pervades the physical body. So, and then he says, Vedanta says that raga devasha belong to the mind, Nast in the Yogacara Buddhism. This system says that there is an Ātma that is not different from the mind, the intellect. It is a continuous flow of thought. This is the Ātma, and it is named Kshanika Vijnanam. Asti Nasti is Jainism, also known as Anekdantava. So this system does not define anything precisely, because according to this system, nothing can be defined precisely, of course. In Mitya, nothing can be defined precisely. Well, because it's changing from moment to moment. So as we know, there is only one thing that can be defined precisely, which is the nature of Aham. Once that is understood, and that is the only precise knowledge, self-knowledge. According to this school, anything can be defined in different ways, according to different angles, according with different states of the mind and circumstance and so on. Therefore, Sunyavada of the Buddhism says that nothing exists, Ātmā or Anatima. So now we went into the Nasti concept that nothingness is the true nature. Vedanta does not accept this system, which quarrel with one another. They all quarrel with one another because from their standpoint, as we have seen before in the chapter 3 or 4, 4, no? Yeah. Each one is right from their standpoint. They are in media. They analyze from that perspective of media. So, and then you cannot quarrel because they know you are right. You are relatively right. You are not absolutely right because there is nothing absolutely right in media. Vedanta does not claim to be with these other visions. Vedanta is a teaching that helps us to understand our own nature. Vedanta is not really a philosophical system. If Vedanta is entered as a philosophical system, and then it's not going to be of much help. And we're going to hold on to the philosophical system and we will forget that it's all about ourselves, isn't it? Excuse me just for a second. Ātmā is subject to change according to these other philosophy or system. Abstinence is held by the Jainas. Total non-existence is advanced by the Sunya, the emptiness vision. Nothing. The way around these different concepts, one will keep arguing forever. So one gets lost into the concepts and notions of the argument and neglect, miss what is illuminating and revealing all these notions and concepts arguing with one another. So they are missing the point, as you know. The Ātmā is lost sight of because you got caught up on what? You got caught up on the world of conceptual objects. They are objects because they are something other than myself. I know the concepts, I know the philosophies. I have to see by which principle I know what I know. So we have to be very, very careful because the same tendency we were discussing yesterday, the tendency to objectify things, People believe that Vedanta is synonymous of moksha or self-knowledge. It is not. Vedanta is just a teaching methodology or system, which helps us not to miss that which is there, revealing or illuminating or getting contact. So consciousness is there through the mind getting contact with this revelation so that we can remember what we are. So all these indiscriminate people, spiritually childish people, nice, cover their own higher nature. They remain ignorant of their true nature or higher nature. Why? Because they are not mature enough. Immature people, what they want? They want to get in contact with some object of experience / knowledge. They can't help, but they want to go into this division, this Dvaita, experiencer and experienced, knower and known. They are hungry. They want to know things objectively. Those are children of Bhagwan. And why we say that they're childish people? When you see children at a certain age, they are fascinated by contact the world of objects. They want to contact and get an experience. Huh? They want to experience everything. And then one gets mature enough, and then once one gets a certain dispassion in regards to objects of experience, life itself becomes something just accepted and tolerated, Arjuna, as Krishna said. Covering itself is not a problem because we do this in sleep as well. And there's no problem in being totally forgetful of our true nature. But covering during the awakened state makes us to slip down to our lower nature, identify with the body-mind-sense complex, and suffering from the illness, sickness called samsara, which is okay, ignorance in the deep sleep. It does not cause any suffering. Gaudapada's message is that we should be alert during our transactions. Gaudapada is pointing out that even after I have this knowledge that I am limitless conscious existence and I'm none of the experiencing entities, the person is going to remain in the empirical world transacting with this projection, because projection does not go anywhere, it remains there. The same way the sun remains appearing as turning around the earth, or the sky remains appearing as blue, and so on. The body-mind complex continues as well, exhausting one's karma, one's prarabdha. This means that we have transactions in the world, and during transaction we have to put on a role of the awaker. Otherwise, no transaction is possible during sleep and dream. You can transact in the dream as well. In the course of playing various roles, we have to handle the different aspects of mithya, anattma. It's just a superimposition of namarupas upon turiya, our true reality, our true nature. So, but we have to handle, no, this is just superimposition upon myself. I'm not gonna deal with anything at all. Huh? And Swami is just says over and over again, you are grihastha, so you need to play a role. Even if you become a sannyasi, you're gonna have to play a certain role in the ashram as well. So you're gonna have to deal with anattma for as long as your karma is still exhausting itself. In those situations, since we must transact until we are out of here, we have to remain very alert even after self-knowledge was assimilated. Nididhyasana, to remember one's real nature, should be done during transactions. It's a little bit more difficult, and if it's too difficult, we take some time apart to do this nididhyasana in the silence and the quietness of our meditation room. However much a person is careful, situations come, and some of them come in which there is a certain attachment or hook with some situation, anattma situation. In that anattma situation appears as, oh, it seems to be real, that's why I'm getting so excited. It happens. Then turiya will become as though mithya. It's less prominent, and the person sleeps. Then reality, which is satya, is going to be hidden. You know, it's going to be forgotten. No, and then mithya is going to appear to be satya. Therefore, alertness is important. Any anattma can cause this sleep. and it can be frustrating. Oh no, that kind of an Ātmā I don't want to deal anymore because it brings up some, some of my humanity, some of my old vasanas. I don't go there, So, but sometimes, your Parabhada compels you to stay revisiting those situations that brings up some of your abiding humanity, human tendencies. Gaudapadacharya says that it need not be a very, very, very solid, concrete anathema, but even a conceptual object such as my belief system, my spiritual philosophy. So any one of those things belong to this subtle world of conceptual objects. So we have thought objects, which are thoughts in respect to objects that are retained as memory. They may appear in my mind, although I'm not in contact with the empirical object. But then there are some emotional objects that visit us because it's sitting there in our subconscious mind. It appears, and they are objects as well. They are kind of subtle anathema objects. And then the more subtle are certain philosophical systems that we hold on to. And those attachments may create problems as well. You got too involved with conceptual, abstract philosophies and ideas, and then you're going to end up quarreling, discussing, arguing with other people from different philosophies. Anything can distract the person from, because all of these are kind of hooks, you understand? It's based on attachment to certain things, which may be a very subtle conceptual object, but I'm attached to that. I draw a sense of identity based on these concepts, as well as based on my body, mind, attributes, and the things I own physically. So all of this serves for us to somehow construct a sense of identity. And that is the case with the very subtle, philosophical, profound, spiritual notions or philosophies that we find ourselves very much attracted. Even Vikalpa Samadhi is an attachment, and it's, in theory, there is no concept, there is just this huge emptiness. But somehow there is something in regards to the individual soul that it has a hook on that emptiness, on that absence of any kind of concepts. It's just a state. And that, even that, the most subtle possible object of attachment is an impediment. Just imagine a philosophy based on the words, not to what the words are pointing to. Even virtues can become bondage. It is sattvaguna bondage. Stuck in sattvaguna. Gaudapada says that the systems of Nyaya, Yogacara, Jaina, and so on can create problems if one is involved in academic, scholarly study only, pursuits only. A lot of people fall for this one, so easily fall for this. A lot of people involved with Vedanta, they just see, they get in contact with Swami Paramahansa, and then they start, studying from the standpoint of academic knowledge, in spite of all the warnings given by Swamiji. And then when you see they are sharing that knowledge with the other, but it's purely academic knowledge. A spiritually indiscriminate person forgets his higher nature, getting lost in the analysis of these different darshanas, and that includes even the teachings of Vedanta. Vedanta does not come under any darshana or philosophy. It's a teaching methodology, but even though some people get attached to it, believing that this is an end by itself rather than a mean pointing to something which is the end. Vedanta is not a philosophy, it's only a teaching that helps us what? To own our true nature, to abide in our true nature, to remain as we are, limitless consciousness, right? Are you watching your cat?
No, I'm thinking about my attachments, and I have a strong attachment to what I conceive of as Dharma. And so I get involved in thinking I have to do something in the world, the climate, the politics, all that stuff, you know. And there was a lovely meditation by Dayananda that I listened to the other day, where he goes through all the things that are given by Ishvara. And his conclusion is just let Ishvara be. Just let Ishvara be. So I'm working on it.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
there are different layers to these because we live in a very troubled world. And there is so much, I think I already mentioned that. There is, I mean, the moment that information, communication, you know, became so much controlled by this corporations power, you know, we can't really trust everything that's said there. And then it becomes huge. It's become very difficult to discriminate what is Dharma from Adharma because we have to rely on information coming from somewhere, you understand? I think I told you that it's better to leave it all to Ishvara because, you know, without knowing, we may enjoy the Duryodhana army, thinking that we are enjoying the army of Dharma. You know, have to be careful. Verse 8:4. But what you said, I have an attachment to observing Dharma. This is good. This is a good vasana, a vasana of vigilance to observe Dharma, but for your own sake, not for the sake of changing the world. First, because you are not in the army of Arjuna, you are not a warrior to have to go there and fight your Dharma. No. And then secondly, because you have a higher goal in this life, which is moksha. No? And overall, so it's important, yes, that you observe Dharma within your own life for your own sake, and of course, for the sake of people around you, because it's a good example to be a Dharmic person, you know, a person who is sensitive, generous, and loving, compassionate to others, you know, and something that someone who does not do things to others that does not want to be done to oneself. So all of these are very important traits of a Dharmic personality. It's important, yes, but when it comes to go out there and changing the world and protect the world against evil, the first thing is how you're going to know, you know, what is the evil here? Because everything is so, you know, nowadays there is so deceived and it's so much misinformation. So there are indeed the four views by constant holding with the Ātmā. There are indeed the four views by constantly hold with which Ātmā is covered. Ātmā isn't, I did not understand. These are indeed the four views by constantly holding the Ātmā. It's the construction is a bit strange, huh? Okay, so he's talking about the different philosophies, these 4 schools, and they are holding which the Ātmā is covered. Okay, if you hold for those 4 views or 4 philosophies, these are an example of 4 philosophies, and by constantly holding to them, the Ātmā is going to be covered. Now I understood. So why? Because you are holding on to the Namarupas. What kind of Namarupas? Conceptual Namarupas. So it's there is no form or anything. It's a conceptual object. So, but that, even that is going to cover the Ātmā. Consciousness is the only reality. Ātmā is untouched by any and all superimpositions of conceptual objects. So the one who understands this is free from confusion between Satya and Mithya, Ātmā and Anattama. There are 4 standing points, as mentioned before. These 4 schools, Asti, Nasti, Asti, Nasti, Nasti, Nasti. All these systems will fall under, all systems will fall under one of these 4 categories. Vedanta does not take any position. A particular position means an idea, and therefore you are within the realm of anattama. Even Vedanta, after it has done the job, has to be dropped. It's very important as well. It's not that we have to drop Vedanta prematurely, but once Vedanta has served its purpose, it drops by itself naturally. You understand? I don't think anybody holds on to Vedanta. It's like somebody who was very ill and then was introduced to a certain medicine. And then the medicine has cured the person, and the person continues to take the medicine indefinitely. Understand? So no, it's nature. The person say, oh, that was so great, you know? Yeah, but I want to share that. And then it's better you stay associated to the scriptures so that you can share it in the best possible way. Vedanta, as a teaching methodology, is also Mithya knowledge, anattama. It served the purpose to reveal the true nature of my knower. But once I drop my knower status as the mind through the study of Vedanta, and I take and I claim my true nature as that beyond the knower, known, and knowledge, you know? And then naturally and spontaneously, I'm going to stop taking the treatment, the medicines daily. But I have a vasana. Okay, it's not a bad vasana, as long as it's not binding. Oh my God, I did not study 2 hours Vedanta today. And then, you know, and then there is something that did not work yet. And then the person has to say, no, it seems that I'm not completely cured yet. I need to, you know, accept that I have to take the medicine. But if the person forgets the true purpose of the teachings and hold on to any teaching whatsoever, even the Vedanta teaching, the true nature of the person is concealed. Why? Because my focus is on something out there, and then the light that's revealing that something out there. Life involves handling anattama, but never being obsessed or caught up with anattama, because if I am obsessed with anattama, I will attribute reality to anattama. And if I attribute reality to anattama, I'm going to feel disturbed because I have no control over anattama. We have no control over what's happening in the world, whatsoever is our view or interpretation of what's happening in the world. There are so many factors, as we know, involved. From this empirical level, the Turiya Ātmā is not affected by any one of these philosophies. Gaudapada used the word Bhagwan, but he does not mean Saguna God, but Nirguna God, Turiya Ātmā, the self. Ayani, having known that everything is Brahman, Turiya Ātmā, and that he himself, her herself, is this Turiya Ātmā, this Nirguna Ātmā, this person has transcended all standpoints, like the screen for the world movie. It's free and independent from all of these standpoints. Standpoints are superimposition upon that which is one's true nature as consciousness. As consciousness, I'm not affected by any one of these philosophies because they belong to Mithya. They are superimposed on me, and any and everything in Mithya at the most can have a status of a conditional relative truth or reality, never the absolute reality. Therefore, why to be excited about these things? Huh? You may be fascinated to see. I have a certain fascination with what's happening in the world. My view and my interpretation I keep to myself because I don't want to get in conflict with anybody's views and interpretation. I am fascinated to see, wow, unbelievable. What a movie. Huh? And it appears to be very dramatic. Wars and conflicts and, struggle for power. It almost looks like what the Vedas say in regards to Kali Yuga. I say, well, my God, so this is really a terrible, wonderful, beautiful movie. And I tell my good friends, I say, don't forget to keep the stock of popcorn and drinks and cold drinks because the show carries on. Huh? Verse 8.5, having attained total omniscience and the non-dual state of brahminhood, which is free from beginning, middle, and end, what does the yoni desire thereafter? That's interesting. Huh? So having attained that knowledge of one's true nature as Satya, having attained that knowledge, sorry, it's my accountant sending me a message here. Having attained that knowledge, your nature as moksha, freedom from everything that happens in the anattama world. The yoni, he's aware of its non-dual nature. It's a state, non-dual nature, which is totally free from time, space, beginning, middle, and end, and all the change and the circumstance and so on. So one is aware of that. This is my non-dual nature, and that affects my mental state. So I experience the world from the standpoint of Aham Brahmasmi, and I'm free, and I don't change. And then the mind of the yoni, as you know, it develops a strength, a resistance, immunization, and balance against, this drama. What is the most dramatic thing? Oh, so just a nuclear war, and then we are all cooked, all done. So what? They understand, what? Are they going to go to that extreme? Are they that crazy? So what? I heard that Shimayananda once, at the time of the Cold War, people said, Swami, so we may have a nuclear explosion, then everybody's going, oh, great, we're going to go all together to heaven. The crowd going to heaven at the same time, big party. So having attained this understanding of one's non-dual, limitless nature, that which is beyond time and space, the yoni is going to desire something or not. What do you think? What is the yoni going to desire? Yeah, Sylvia? Mark?
I don't think he's going to desire anything. I think he might like a pizza once in a while, but I don't think he's going to be worried if he gets it or not. Because contentment is his nature, he won't have any binding desires.
Yeah, well said. And this is the benefit of Ātmā. So you just understood that you are consciousness one without a second, therefore whole, full, and complete, therefore limitless. Time and space appear in superimposition within your very self. So what is the yoni going to desire thereafter? No? It will desire nothing as a means to fulfill or complete oneself. But it may desire to have a pizza tonight. Why not? But if the pizza is not delivered, so what? Normally people have mixed conclusions about whether their lives are success or failure. No one can claim complete success at all levels, as the ahamkara, the body, mind, ego. Claiming one's higher nature alone will give the proper perspective towards the accomplishments of the ego at the ego level. Ahamkara is very limited by all means. Success and failures are unavoidable. For these to be insignificant, the person should claim the only significant thing, which is Turiya. Oh my God, how beautiful. This is poetry, this is music, huh? What a paragraph. Normally people have mixed conclusions about their lives because they say, oh my God, I'm a failure. No, I'm a success, I'm a failure. And then maturity comes and say, oh my God, life is just a sequence of success and failure. It's better I don't identify with any success or any failure. It's better I identify with my true nature, which is before or beyond success and failure. As a body, mind, sense complex, I will die limited by all means. And I have to own my true nature and live from that perspective of understanding, of knowledge, and see the success of failures of the ahamkara as a passing show. Failures come with success, success comes with failure. Life comes with death, and death comes with rebirth. But in order to see the world as something insignificant, the person needs to claim one's true nature, which is the only significant principle. Consciousness of limitless nature. Having attained this knowledge in the form of Brahman knowledge, have attained this omniscience in the form of Brahman knowledge. So it's consciousness itself, which is omniscient in the sense that it's all pervasive. It pervades the entire anathema and goes beyond, all possible anathemas universe. So this is omniscience. When we say that God is omniscience, Sattva Guna is omniscient. It pervades this universe, this project, physical material universe is sustained by the intelligent cause, which is Sattva Guna. So God has the knowledge of everything within this anathema universe, okay? But true omniscience is Brahman, Satchitananda Brahman, consciousness. This is that which is all pervasive. It pervades all universe, past, present, future, all yugas, and so on. So understanding one's omniscient nature as all-pervasive consciousness, existence, the person has attained the understanding of one's non-dual nature. This is only possible by the means of knowledge. The knowledge is, I am limitless non-dual consciousness. How so? Yes, that is a fact in spite of the duality, which does not go anywhere once I understand my true nature. Therefore, this yani attains fulfillment by understanding its true, superior, higher nature, not by accomplishing more and more success in life. There's no question of being more successful. There is a saying I heard many years back, is nothing fails more than success in this world. Because every time you succeed, you still feel incomplete, dissatisfied, unsatisfied, or whatever. There can be temporary experiential non-duality, like in deep sleep, but permanent experience of non-duality is impossible. Mithya, as we know, is there available as an appearance, experience, and extraction of utilitarian value to its object. So it's there, it does not go anywhere. You can suspend this mithya, duality, or experiencer, experienced in deep sleep and nirvikalpa samadhi. But permanent experience of no duality or no mind is impossible. But then it says, but the yani that knows that he's this non-dual Ātmā, non-dual nirguna Ātmā, he is going to enjoy a certain freedom from the superimposition of the three gunas. So this yani is saying to be he is such as Brahmana, because he understood my true nature is Brahman. The Jiva Ātmā was just an appearance, my inferior nature. Thereafter, whatever that person does is not done for fulfillment, but from satisfaction and a sense of completion. He does not have any binding desires, and he does not engage in actions for fulfillment. He does not have any binding pursuits either. Fulfillment does not mean that the person should withdraw from interactions. Actions should be engaged when needed, but without giving the sense of completion by accomplishment or success. And then he reminds us that Krishna says in the Gita, for me there is nothing to be done. In the three worlds, there is nothing to be gained by me, which was not yet gained. Yet I remain engaged in action. In another passage, he says, yes, and my actions are moved by desire. For those who say that thereafter the yani has no desire, there is no problem if someone like Krishna or Shemaya or anyone does certain things. And Krishna says, I am the desire in non-violation of Dharma. I am the desire in total conformity to Dharma. What it means, it's non-binding, and it's for the benefit of society. And which way you can live from that angle of desire. So if you have a desire to do something to help others, you have to be careful first to see the motivations behind this desire. I want to transform the world. I want to protect the world against this side, that side. So we have to see what we want, what kind of involvement we had with the desire, in which way I'm hooked into that desire. There is a sense of rightness or this and that, or condemnation, judgment. So all of that needs to be seen. And but yet there is room for some wise people to say, no, I have a desire to see a better world, therefore I'm going to be a better person myself, because I need to be that person I want to see in other people to make up a better world. As we know, any social or political revolution never represent any solution for society. So the only revolution is spiritual revolution. And it seems that now during Kali Yuga, this spiritual revolution is it's a little bit more difficult to, less available because of the circumstance of the Dharma field. Anything from you?
Thanks for that. It's Dharma Raja. Let Ishwar take care of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like stealing authority, which doesn't belong to the ahankara,
Yeah.
which is where all that comes from.
Well, I have to look into our nature, you understand? I mean, our nature, for most of us, is our secondary appearance nature as the body-mind complex. So our human nature, for most of us, is for self-knowledge and moksha. So this is, I am a spiritual person. My vasanas, the most predominant vasanas are spiritual vasanas. So Arjuna was in a certain position there because he had a certain spiritual tendency, but he had his Swardharma, his vasana, as a general of the arm, which was supposed to protect the Dharma. So he had two natures playing at the Dharma of the battlefield, okay? And some people may have a kind of, these two natures playing. And how about Krishna? No? I don't know if Krishna was a king and he had an army and so on. He had an appreciation to Dharma. He was a great warrior as well, according to the Puranas. But the point here is that what is our most important nature here, For example, as someone who shared this knowledge, which is my higher Swadharma here? Is to share this knowledge or to share my political viewpoints, in respect to what is Dharma and what is the Dharma, what is right and what is wrong. You understand? What is higher? Silva has been saying to me again and again, your higher Dharma is to share this knowledge. You understand? It's not to go into any other aspects of society, because that will create confusion. So we need to see now where we are, where we stand, investigate our motivations there, and to what extent the ego is too much involved in trying to be more right and to be more happy. So this self-knowledge is going to give us the happiness we want, and this is the most valuable things for us to share with others. Leave the world to Ishvara. James used to say that you don't need to change the world. the world is perfect as it is. Leave it to Ushwara, you know. But sometimes it's easier said than done, eh? Because you see, sometimes people tend to be caught up with notions about what's the best for the world and so on. I remain engaged in action, but there is nothing for me to be gained or done. This is Krishna teaching to all of us. Verse 8.6, this is the ultimate modesty or humility, mind control, as well as sense control, available for the wise, is indeed said to be spontaneous because of natural self-restraint. Thus, the wise person attains natural spontaneous peace, a peace that has to be held under vigilance and discipline has not that much value. So this knowledge has to become so deeply internalized so that peace becomes natural and effortless. So he talks about the disciplines of mind control and sense control, but he said the wise people, it has this state, you know, effortlessly, and they are really self-restraint by the means of jnana. They live in a kind of sahaja samadhi, which is a natural state in which the mind is properly resolved by the means of Ātmā jnana. So this peace is effortless and spontaneous. And then he says, you know, Jnana is an example of true modesty, you know, true humility. Why? Because once things happen spontaneously, it happens because the ego is not there to own anything, you know. When we say that you have to claim and own your true nature, it's not the ego going there and owning. It's just a higher aspect of your being that needs to understand that I'm not the ego, I am limitless free consciousness. And that owning comes without any sense of vanity or arrogance, such as I have made it. You understand? It does not come. If there is a sense of vanity, and then the ego is still there, trying to steal the scene, to rob the scene, and then that peace is gonna not be spontaneously and natural. It's going to be subject to change. Everything has to happen spontaneously at the end, you know. You can do things. The ego is the doer, and the seeker of moksha is still doing things on the intellectual level, doing certain sadhanas to enjoy this peace, spontaneous peace. So all this doing at the most is going to purify and prepare the mind for self-knowledge. And then after self-knowledge, this peace grows spontaneously, naturally. So there is a point after which sadhana is almost no sadhana. You just understood, so what a fantasy. I thought that the ego was doing all this self-inquiry to know and to be free and Jesus. Oh my God. You look back and you say, oh my God, this was only ego. And here and there I was feeling I was self-realized, only to discover that the ego was deluded again. And now I begin to experience true modesty, true humility, because the ego is not involved. If the ego is involved, there is no true humility or modesty. You know? And that's the only way we will obtain peace. This is another important notion, idea, behavioral trait of the yoni. Again, it's talking about how is it for us. Before coming to yana and form nista, hard and fast, firm knowledge, firm yana, the person must have practiced many sadhanas, yes. Kama yoga, upasana yoga, shradana, manana, nididhyasana. After I have passed through all these different stages, he says that the yoga level and the upasana level, in the 13th chapter, there is a list of other sadhanas and so on. And then he goes into virtues, 26 virtues, etc. In all the Vedanta texts, sadhana, katustaya, sampati is highlighted. All of these sadhanas are started when the spiritual life begins. It is long and consists of Kama Yoga, Upasana Yoga, Kama Yoga and Upasana Yoga are for preparation. It's going to prepare us. Shravana, Mana, and Nididhyasana is for knowledge, for attaining knowledge. Shravana and Mana, you're going to receive the knowledge and contemplate and reflect upon the knowledge. Nididhyasana is not for gaining more knowledge, but it is for retaining the knowledge. Okay? It's just internalizing and retaining the knowledge. The person who has gone through all these stages, the person nature develops the virtues. And these virtues will be natural to him during nididhyasana, such as no vanity, no arrogance, no sense of doership, and I am the enlightened one, and so on. He does not have to deliberately follow any of these virtues. A yoni is one who spontaneously grows with virtues. And they express most of these virtues according to the personality of each one of those yonis. The yoni will also work on making any virtue that's not natural to make it natural for him or for her. That's very nice. Oh no, I'm seeing that there is still some bad attitudes, and I'm still behaving a little bit roughly, and I'm not being very beautiful here and there. So let me look at it and observe it. Okay, never feel guilt about that, because if you don't develop any sense of pride by your virtues, you develop virtues without any sense, I'm a virtuous one, I'm a righteous one, I'm this and that, I'm the wise one, none of that. The same way, if you see things, some aspects of the personality which are not very nice, you don't feel shame for that or guilt for that. No, you just see, how interesting, huh? There is still some of that. And then nothing escapes the light of consciousness. So the simple fact of looking those residual pieces of of somehow negative tendencies is enough to affect or neutralize gradually but surely those tendencies, and then say, no, I mean, if I can, I prefer to get over this tendency, So I want to be naturally beautiful. Because you have divinity, you want to be beautiful. No, because beauty is my nature, and I want to live in harmony with my nature, Compassion, love, empathy, wisdom, sensibility, respect to life. I'm going to share a small story here, very interesting. The other day before I came here, I was still looking at trying to save the small plants that I had growing in my vegetable garden. And we are always looking for ants to see where they're coming from and try to prevent them from coming from. And then we discovered that a trail. And I was so fascinated by seeing what they were doing, coming from so far away and then going, and then take a small piece. Sometimes it was 2-3 times the weight of the poor ant, and carrying it, going through several obstacles, sometimes collapsing and going like that, and then standing up with the piece of whatever. And sometimes it was just a small branch, I don't know what they do, but they were doing that. And then to find where they were taking all of that, because there were so many leaves, I took, here where it is. I didn't want to disturb them. And now I know what it is. So we are supposed to put some things that they are going to take there, and then a fungus is going to develop, and they are all going to die. And then we look at that and say, oh my God, now that I see the beauty of Ishwara manifests through these ants, this intelligence, and they are doing what they are doing for the sake of surviving, for living, for life's expression. How am I going to kill it? I had to tell my employees, no, I cannot do that. Now I know that this is God. I cannot kill these ants. Let it be. Let's share the the vegetables with them. What else to do? I mean, I had some success. I put a channel all around that has prevented most of them from going there in that area. So we like to be genuinely beautiful and sensible, respectful, loving, compassionate. But these virtues are natural. It is spontaneously expressed by the yoni. A seeker should cultivate values deliberately to develop these virtues to the point of having them spontaneously. At no point he can be free from them. A seeker of moksha. A yana nishta is a dharmic person, is spontaneously. So a seeker, the one who is a yani, but it is it's an aspirant, or it is yani, a junior yani, as sometimes we say. It has to cultivate, has to do some deliberate effort to purify and so on. But the moment that this yana is firm and clear and always available, these virtues become spontaneous. From Vedantic angle, Dharma or values is as well mithya. This is shocking, and from the Vedanta standpoint, even Dharma Yadharma is still anathema, mithya. People may misinterpret what I'm saying now by thinking that once a yani is a yani, he can just forget about Dharma. No. Gaudapada warned that there is no such concession. For as long as you exhaust your parabada, you better observe Dharma. Gaudapada warns that there is no such concession. Transactional life should be governed by Dharma and Dharma alone. No? Whether one is a yani or a yana nishta, beautiful. Krishna tells in the Gita that even Bhagavan, when he takes the incarnation as an avatar, it comes to this empirical, physical, vyavaharika. Even the avatars cannot claim an exception. You're going to have to go there and observe Dharma and so on. Veda never makes Vedanta compulsory, but makes Dharma compulsory. This is so beautiful. Huh? Whether one's Purushartha is Artha Kama or Moksha Dharma is the foundation whether one's goals of life is security and pleasures or dharma moksha, know that the foundation of life is the observance of moksha, of dharma. Dharma is the foundation. This is very beautiful, don't you think? Okay, doke. Anything from you guys? Not today. Mark, all is good?
Yeah, all is good, Arlindo. Beautiful satsang, thank you. It's been very topical today because I've got a friend actually from Two of Them Analyze staying in the house at the moment. And we were talking about these very things this morning. So it's been lovely. Really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Okie dokie. We meet this coming Friday on the Gita. Did you watch the Gita, the last class of the Gita, Mark? Well, not yet.
I haven't yet because I was away at the weekend as well. So I've been super busy since we got back, but I will do before Friday.
Okie dokie. Please do so.
Yeah, will do.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste.
Thank you, Orlando.
Thank you. Thank you all.